Welcome to another episode of What Are Those? I'm your host, Alan Butler, back with another episode. Thank you so kindly for being here. Back with a dope guest, man. I like talking, man. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I've been getting some really, really good guests on this show, man. Just folks that's inside the fashion industry, outside the fashion industry, outside the sneaker culture. That's what I really wanted for this show, to broaden it out and just talk to people and use sneakers and fashion is like this, like kind of common conversation piece to talk about bigger things within the culture, man. So glad to be doing that. I got another dope guest coming up really soon. But before that, I gotta let you know, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to this channel. It's a new channel. We building it up. We building it up. You remember that? You remember that? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have sang. Anyway, we building it up. We doing our thing. Shouts out to the 5 Heartbeats. We doing our thing, and you subscribing, right? Subscribing, cutting on your alerts, commenting on videos, sharing videos, all of that, rating, viewing videos, all of that stuff just helps so much. Share the page, subscribe to the page, do all that. Do me that favor. Thank you so much. All right, let's get it right to it, man. There's a cool shop in Washington, D.C. called Home Court DC. And it's a resale shop. You can get all sorts of clothes and sneakers in there. I've been doing business with them for a few, selling and buying from them. I really enjoy it. And when I find a cool spot, man, I really want to showcase it. But beyond the store itself, real cool dude that works in there, man, does a lot. He's been reselling since he was 12 years old. 12 years old. That blew my mind. He'll tell you more about that in a moment. He's deeply involved in sneaker culture, deeply involved in fashion culture. It's his life, basically. And I'm happy to have him on the show and let you all hear the conversation, man. My man, Max.amil, aka Nehemiah, is coming up right now. Let's get to it. Yo, what's going on, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Coolin', man. Coolin'. I see you got some stuff back there. I know you're gonna.
This the closet right here.
Yeah, I like it. For the people that may not know who you are, man, just sort of introduce yourself. Let them know who you are and what you do.
All right. I'm Nehemiah Thompson. A lot of people know me as Max or Max.amil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sneaker reseller, sneaker collector. I work at Home Court. I'm on the buy team.
Yeah.
And I've been reselling since I was 12, and it's taken me so many places, and I've learned so many things about art and fashion and clothing and sneakers. So I'm the culmination of love that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been reselling since you were 12?
Yeah. I started reselling when I was 12.
How did you get into reselling at 12 years old?
My dad and my uncles, they were big in sneaker collecting.
Okay.
My dad's brother, Robert, TT, a lot of people know him as TT. They used to pick me up from school when I was in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and we would go to Major, we would go to Elite Board Shop, we would go all over, the DMV area and buy sneakers, and they would buy sneakers, and I was a product of that.
Yeah.
So around, I'm 24 now, so around 2012 is a good year for sneakers for me. I remember all the sneakers that came out that year. I remember shoveling snow and saving birthday money to get the Concords. And I got 2 pairs of those. I got 1 pair as a gift. I got the other pair as they were my pair. And I sold that pair at Kickspot, which is across. So I work at Home Court, Georgetown.
Yeah.
It's across the street. It was across the street. And I sold them there. And they used a lot. And that was back when they really didn't do buys. Like, there was a lot of consignment, but they bought them because they liked me, because I would hang out with my dad and my uncle in there. And so from there, it was like a snowball effect. And then the Galaxy stuff came out, and then the Bread 4. It was a big snowball, and I was in the middle of it as this young, impressionable child. And I liked something because I played basketball, and I wanted to have the sneakers. And then 12 years later, I'm 24, and it's my career.
That's an amazing story, man. First off, you bring it up, the Kickspot. I haven't thought about Kickspot in a long time. I used to be up at Kickspot all the time, man. You just bring up like these, like, if anyone outside of DC that's listening, these are like the sneaker shops in our town that were like a big deal, major. Kickspot, now Home Court. Dope spots. We're gonna get into Home Court in a few, man. But it sounds to me that like reselling and correct me if I'm wrong, thrifting and fashion is like the culture is like your lifestyle, like quite
Yeah.
literally. Am I wrong about that?
No, you are 100% correct. It's the essence of who I am as a person. I don't know. I would say commerce is the essence of who I am as a person. I
Mm-hmm.
like I like the transaction part of life. You know, like this is a transaction. You asked me to be on the show. I'm doing it, and the product will be the video. So I enjoy that part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's like the thrifting part of it, you know, being able to find something really cool for cheap
Mm-hmm.
and maybe sell it for more, or maybe have a relic that I'll have for years to come. I got a lot of Black history stuff that I've thrifted, that I've got from joint custody, that I've got from
Yeah.
friends that thrift because they know that I like things like that. So
Yeah.
it's always just like I feel like this stuff, like clothing and sneakers, it's all stories and narratives, and you know, it all just adds on to who you are as a person.
Yeah. For the people that are listening to this, you know, as long as I've been doing this show, the first run of this show and now this current run of this show, I brought up thrifting a couple of times. And just for you to know, a lot of people that listen to this show are not sneakerheads and not big time. For some reasons, like people that are interested in sneaker culture, like from the outside, kind of fascinated by it, or fashion culture, listen to the show and watch this show. So I get a lot of questions from people,
Right,
right? And so we bring up thrifting. You know, some people understand like the basics of thrifting. Like I went to the thrift store and I found a cool table. You know, hey, I was looking for a cheaper whatever, and I went to the thrift store. But they don't really get the idea of thrifting something, finding a jewel in the thrift, and then flipping it and turning it into like now it's like a high fashion piece. Like I can
right.
sell this
Yeah,
for double the worth of what I bought from the thrift. And I know that's not what thrifting is all about, but just
yeah.
sort of explain from your perspective why thrifting is cool to you and what is it about thrifting that, you know, seems to have made it bigger than ever right now.
Right. Well, we're gonna start with I suck at thrifting. Anybody
Okay.
who knows me knows I suck at it. Knows
Yeah.
I'm a part of the the iPhone generation.
Mm-hmm.
Instant gratification is always my thing. Like I used to go in the thrift. So I recently just graduated from St. John's University, but we would go
Congratulations.
to the thank you. We would
Yeah.
go to the thrift stores in New York, and we would be in there for hours, and I'm like I can't find nothing. And then my
Yeah.
friend would find something that it's like I would love, so
Yeah.
I'm not that good at it,
Yeah.
but um like from the time that I spent thrifting, the allure of it is being able to find something that only you have, that only I
Mm-hmm.
have, that it's genuine to myself. And I think fashion is something that is very disingenuous. I feel like a lot of people don't buy things that fit them well
Mm.
or that represent who they are as a person. They
Mm-hmm.
more so buy things because they're popular, because they saw someone else wear them. So I feel
Yeah.
like thrifting it's a part of therapy. It's a part of knowing who you are as a person
Mm.
to be able to buy something that only fits you well, or is
Yeah.
something that only you like, and it's a conversation starter. Like
Yeah.
people see you have something thrifted. They may have had it when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's happened to me a lot. I wear that Mansa Musa t-shirt a lot. The one
Yeah.
that says 100% black man on the back. It says, a lot of black
Mm.
things on it. And a guy stopped me one time and was like, I used to have that shirt when I went to Howard
Mm.
University. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's about 40 to 55 years old. Like he's
Yeah.
old. He's way older than I am, but
Yeah.
he had this shirt that, somebody brought to me in the store. So it's
Yeah.
just like, it's a conversation starter. It's a way to show your personality, the things you are into.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way to show individuality.
Yeah, I noticed that. And shouts out to my man Dame, Dope Closet Thrift. Check out Dame's down in VA, man. Good dude. And
I have been there. Yeah, I've been there.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, and I'm not surprised, right? Like Dame's DeLorean. You know, I know you
yeah,
know about the boys at DeLorean and
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Like a lot of cool. You walk in there and you see a lot of cool stuff. When I walk into you guys' shop, which I've become a big fan of. You know, I've been in there a couple of
Thank you,
times.
thank
I've
you.
visited y'all, bought from y'all, sold to y'all. I like going in there. It's a real cool shop, man. I if I was just taking someone and saying, hey, we're gonna go in here, it's a resale shop. I wouldn't describe it as like a thrift store because it's not a thrift store, it's a
Right,
resale shop, right? But somebody might go in there with the mindset of, okay, well, let me turn my camera just a little bit. Okay. Somebody might go in there with the mindset of, okay, I'm going into a thrift shop, I might find something for $10, $15. Maybe,
Right. Yeah.
maybe, but what you're going in there and you're finding is repurposed fashion, right? Which I think is a good thing, not just because I can find this stuff and I don't have to go like to Milan or what I'm
Right.
trying to say. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to walk into some snooty store and feel all crazy. I can walk in here, deal with some good people that can tell me what's up. I might even be able to make a trade, but also it kind of gets us away from this fast fashion thing that's been going on where you've been wasting a lot of people buying stuff and it's sort of like it's almost like a recycling thing, and I don't mean to
Yeah.
trivialize it, but it's like an environmental thing. Like it's like if I don't have need for this anymore,
Right.
I bet I could take it to you guys. Maybe I trade it. Maybe I get a little couple dollars for it. Whatever.
Hmm.
Now someone can enjoy this, and you don't have to go and remake this thing. And I'm not just throwing it and discarding it in the trash.
Right.
It's like a communal thing, right?
Yeah.
Am I looking a little too deep into that, or is that how?
No, you
Yeah.
are hitting it like the nail on the head.
Mm.
Like even down to the sense of the economy,
Yeah.
right? I can start with I'll start with these
Mhm.
the the off white fives. I This is my second pair of these. I had one pair and I sold them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've been funneling that money.
Yeah.
This is I paid for this pair
Mm-hmm.
from the first pair I got. I sold those
Mhm.
2 years ago. I got this pair last
Mhm.
year. In between, I bought a pair of shoes and I sold them, and
Yeah.
I got these. So like,
Yeah.
it's all about just saving. I say like it's sustainability,
Yeah.
and it's whether that's like literal sustainability, buying
Yeah.
something that's used is always going to be cheaper. It's always going to be a little bit better for the world because you're not
Yeah.
putting those fumes out to
Yep.
make clothing again. But also it's like sustainability for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm 24, I don't have
Mhm.
bills yet.
Mhm.
I know they coming soon. But
They coming, but
yeah. But like
yeah.
it's not financially sustainable
Yeah.
to want to pair $1,000 shoes all the time
Yeah.
and get them. But I
Yeah.
can always bring in sneakers that I have to put
Yeah.
towards, or I can sell those and sell those
Yeah.
for 300 a piece. That's
Yeah.
600, and I put a little bit from working, and
Yeah.
I get this thing I want. So it's
Yeah.
like it's about doing it in increments. It's about doing it in chunks. But I
Mhm.
think that stores like Home Court, like Kicks
Mhm.
Demon, like DeLorean, they give
Yeah.
you that opportunity to kind of open your closet, open the things you want up without
Mhm.
having to break the bank, without having to,
Yeah.
and I always tell people like it's always cheaper to shop at places like us because it's
Mhm.
like you don't got to go into debt if you don't really want to. I know a lot of
Right.
people that are like in severe debt because
Mm.
they bought
Yeah.
all these shoes and they did all this stuff and they
Yeah.
have all these things, but like now they can't do anything with them and they can't enjoy life. They just look nice, and I think that's like the beauty of it. Like there's
Mhm.
stores where you can wear something 2 or 3 times and
Yeah.
you can't take it back to Saks. You can bring it to us.
Yeah.
You can bring it
Yeah.
to a Kicks
Yeah.
Demon. You can take it to a DeLorean, a
Yeah.
Dames.
Yeah.
A what's District One. Like it's so many places where
One.
you can
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can you can funnel through these things. So
Yeah.
it's definitely you hit the nail on the head with like the essence of what the store is.
Yeah. Yeah, and just what that culture is, because again, there are people out there that don't really like. They'll walk in the room, walk in your room, walk in my room, and see all this stuff, and like, God, how much money you spending?
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I you pulled out those off white fives. I had to sell ones, right? I actually
Yeah.
ended up giving them to DeLorean, but I think I bought a pair the black Trabs into the store
Right. The other
recently,
day.
right? Right, and I bought them in because we were going to Puerto Rico, and I was like, you know what? A couple of dollars, extra little
Right.
dollars, just to so I can, and my kids had a good time. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
that type of thing. But also, I think you bring up a good point that people don't really think about because again, they hear about sneaker trading and us in the
Hmm.
sneaker world. We know trading and DS and what we know those terms and
Right.
all this
Yeah.
and that. But they don't. I don't think they think about the fact that like, yeah, you know what? I may have gotten my wear, and mind you can't bring in a pair of like dusters, okay? You can't
Right. Yeah.
talking, right? But you could bring in something that's in decent condition. Maybe the guy work with you in the store, mate. When you could trade, you could get something off on something. So that's part of that collector culture. So sustainability is collector culture, is thrift culture, is fashion culture, sneaker
Right.
culture, it's all of these things combined.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you though, the economy changes. You don't have to give away the secret sauce, okay?
Right.
I'm not
Of
here
course.
for the business model, the whole, but
Right.
the economy changes, things changes, styles changes, taste changes, right? When you go into 2024, what's the real difference between what was going on like during the pandemic? And I like to bring this up to people because during the pandemic, I really felt like we were in a real hype culture. Like,
Yeah.
got a couple of checks, they could spend some bread.
Right.
We were, resale was at a peak.
Mm-hmm.
Things are starting to come down a little bit now. What's it like now in 2024 in your business as opposed to what it was like at its what might have been its peak 2019, 2020, 2021?
I would say it's definitely a buyer's market. So
Mm.
if you like, and I always tell people that um the reseller, it's like that episode of The Sopranos when they say the day of the mob is done. Like
Mm.
it's all changed. So it's a buyer's market now. You can't start reselling because you want to make a boatload of money. It's
Mm.
not. You won't do it. But
Yeah.
if you love sneakers, if you love if you love basketball shoes, if you love
Yeah.
skateboarding shoes, if you love Jordans, if you
Yeah.
love Air Maxes, this is
Yeah.
your time to collect. It's
Yeah.
everything is cheap
Yeah.
because these big reseller guys know that
Mm-hmm.
the days of them you know, buying a bunch of stuff and selling it for 10 times what they got it for, that's no more.
Right.
These there's so many new platforms that people can buy used shoes, can buy shoes for around the
Mm-hmm.
market where
Mm-hmm.
market isn't crazy. It's like they're just offloading.
Yeah.
You've got eBay. eBay is a staple in this industry, in the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
eBay's has just opened up the like authentication center, which
Mm-hmm.
like allows people to stop getting scammed. So that ups
Mm-hmm.
the amount of sales that people get on eBay.
Yeah.
That you've got Goat, you've got
Mm-hmm.
StockX, who
Mm-hmm.
are constantly shifting down the culture with
Yeah.
like at least reselling, I'll say, while making sneakers way more accessible than they were,
Mm-hmm.
7, 8 years ago, even like 4 or 5 years ago. I
Yeah.
remember when StockX used to give away those zero seller fees because they wanted people to
Mm-hmm.
sell on there. I sold
Yeah.
a bunch of shoes on there like that. But
Yeah.
now it's like that's a few and far between thing
Yeah.
because their business runs so often that they don't need to do that. And which is
Right.
good for the common guy like me who I
Mm-hmm.
love sneakers. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter, and I like sneakers. They don't have to be hype. They don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
gyms. I like
Mm-hmm.
comfortable sneakers.
Yeah.
So if I can go on there and a shoe that came out Friday is selling for $20, $30 over retail, I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with that. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it's got to a point where even sneakers that come out that are hyped for months on end
Yeah.
are still in stores.
Yeah.
I always tell people go to the mall. If you don't want to pay my price, check out in the
Mm-hmm.
mall. They may
Yeah.
have them there. You
Yeah.
may get lucky. There's
Yeah.
been many a times I've gone and got the last size 12, got the last
Yeah.
11 and a half because they were just still in the mall. So
Right.
but that's a good thing for the guy who loves to collect. And I think
Yeah.
that is, deterring the business in a way
Mm-hmm.
where if your market is buying bulk, buying early, and you
Mm-hmm.
just flood the market, you're not
Right.
going to win. And I think people also aren't as pressed for shoes anymore. Like 2020,
Mm-hmm.
there was that influx of money and everybody had to be first. I want to be the
Mm-hmm.
first guy with this, the first guy with that. I
Yeah.
want the first thing. And I mean, as men, this is a genderless kind of, culture, but like as men, it's a manly thing to be dominant, to be the first, to
Yeah.
be the best.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
now it's like we're all like, it's good to see a lot of people go, oh, you wore these too. You look cool. I
Mm-hmm.
do it all the time. Like I'll see a guy when we'll have on the same sneakers. You got on nice shoes. He may not compliment me back, but I'm not gonna make him feel
Yeah.
like I gotta be the alpha. Like, no,
Yeah.
we have on the same shoes because we got similar tastes. You look
Yeah.
good, my man. Like it's
Yeah.
leave it there.
Yeah, it's funny. I did a documentary about sneaker culture back in like 20. Well, it came out like in 2021, but I filmed it like in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that competition piece, which is some of it is friendly. Obviously, a lot of it
Yeah.
is like, yo, but it did. And this was like, I think this was like the beginning of things starting to get a little goofy in the space, like the hype beast starting to come around and really
Mm-hmm.
maybe not at the beginning, but like people really starting to notice the hype beast. We use the term hype beast a lot in that
Yeah.
film, right? And by the time it came out, it was like at the peak of the hype, and it did turn into less of, oh man, I'm fresh, you fresh. Let's dap on that,
Right. Yeah.
right? I woke up this morning, maybe thinking like, yo, I'm gonna get fresh for this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But if everybody else is looking good, we all happy, and turned into, I can afford this thing and you cannot.
Right.
That's when it got weird. Now we're at a point, and you nailed it, where you can find True Boy. You could, at one point, you could find True Military Blues sitting in the store. You
Mm-hmm.
can find Bread Force sitting in the these hyped up sneakers, right?
Yeah.
That drop, and people are like, but I do feel like some of the, for lack of a better term, tastemakers in the industry, and that's why I did want to talk about that complex list, but I didn't come prepared for the complex list.
Yeah.
But reason why I wanted to talk about it, because they were going through like, these are the top, collaborators in the game, and I remember thinking like, yeah, if you're only thinking about that, cool, but like, how many Military Blues really sold, as
Right.
opposed to this collab that was very difficult to get? And
Yeah.
then and not that not complex, when then you do your end of the year sneaker list, this is the top. You're going to tell me it's something that I'm seeing no one wearing.
Yeah.
When I'm out and about, I'm seeing everybody wearing this, because it was there, and people finally got. So I do feel like, I'm saying all this to say, I feel like there's a disconnect between the people that are talking about the culture and the people that are participating in the culture. As
For
someone
sure.
that is working in the store that sells a lot of cool stuff, some stuff is super, super high fashion. Some things are just Jordan, right?
Yeah. For sure.
When people walk into your store, what are you noticing? Are you noticing people wanting to go more for like the hype collabs, or are they saying like, oh, bet you got these in here, I didn't realize, let me grab that?
Right. I mean, it's a big mix, because it
Mm-hmm.
all boils down to who your customer is. Is
Okay.
it the guy who like loves sneakers,
Yeah.
doesn't care if they're Asics, they're Jordans, they're New Balances, they're
Right.
Nikes, they're Sauconys. Like, if he's that guy who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't care, then of course he'll get the militaries. Of course he'll get
Yeah.
the regular Asics. Of course he'll
Yeah.
get the SB Dunks that don't have a collab on them.
Right.
But if it's this guy who has to be the alpha, and I'm saying the alpha, but
Mm-hmm.
like
I
has
know
to
what you
be
mean.
that guy that,
Yeah.
you don't got these, you don't got these.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming in and buying that shoe, and then a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time he brings it back to sell because he never wore them, because the event that he was supposed to go to didn't
Yeah.
have, like, it's
Yeah.
all, it's like it's
Yeah.
a big mix of things, like.
Yeah.
And to bring up the point that you said, that you never see certain people wearing these shoes,
Mm-hmm.
they buy, because everybody buys the hype shoe to
Yeah.
sell it.
Yeah.
That's what
Yep.
it is. The J
Yep.
Balvin is perfect example. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen 3 people wear those white J
Mm-hmm.
Balvins. I've seen even less people wear the black
Wearing
ones.
the black.
Do
Yep.
I like that shoe? I like it a lot. I
Yeah.
would wear it if I had it, but
Yeah.
they're so expensive that I'll wait for a used pair. It's like,
Yep.
people
Yep.
are buying certain things to sell them rather than
Mm-hmm.
buying them because they like them. And one thing
Yeah.
I will say is, I'm pretty sure it was it might have been Bad Bunny. Either one of them. It was, they had you had to have bought a ticket to the show to get a sneaker. I think it was Bad
Yeah.
Bunny, because
I
it was
think
the
that was Bad
Adidas.
Bunny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of
Yeah.
the Adidas collabs, but you had to have a ticket to the
Mm-hmm.
show to get the shoes early, which was like that. So that means everybody that had a ticket to the show had access. Which is
Right.
less. He's like, okay, you like my music, you like me,
Right. Right.
I want you to have this shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, and then it's like, accessibility is a thing too.
Yeah.
These crazy collab shoes, they don't hit as many doors. They
Yep.
don't, go as many places.
Yep.
So already seeing that shoe on someone's foot is like few and far between.
Yeah.
But like, but it is a weird limbo space,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, how the military is so popular and I can still get them in the
Mm-hmm.
store? How are,
Yeah.
the bread so popular and I can still get them in the store?
Yeah.
How are the Olympic sixes, supposed to be the shoe of the summer and I can still go to
Yeah.
Foot Locker and get them, or I can go to DTLR on
Yeah.
Rhode Island Avenue and get them? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's always weird. It's like that weird limbo space of trying to say this is cool,
Yeah.
and like, but it's all about who tells the stories? I feel like I know I'm in a space that I look at people like T Mark. T Mark is somebody who always
Mhm.
has cool shoes, but they don't
Mhm.
have to be crazy. But he wears a lot of
Right.
GRs and he wears a lot of GRs and like limited releases, but he
Yeah.
wears them. That
Yeah.
somebody is like, okay, he may
Yeah.
post that he got the shoe from Nike or he got
Right.
the shoe from somebody, undefeated
Mhm.
Kith or whatever. But like the next post later in the week, he's gonna wear that shoe.
You know,
I
wear
think,
the shoe.
yeah, right. I think a lot of people follow all these accounts and they see it early, and then when it comes in, they buy it, and then they
Mhm.
let it collect dust. I feel like
Yeah.
the sneaker game, is definitely coming back to that. I bought this shoe, I'm gonna wear it,
Mhm.
rather than I bought this shoe and I'm gonna sell it or
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it till it retains value,
Yeah.
because the shoes got to be worn. Like my
Yeah.
uncle told me one time, it was so he's a big SB Dunk guy, big
Mhm.
New Balance guy, and we were going through the storage unit one day, and I'm like, you got these, you got these, you got these, blah blah, and I'm taking stuff that I'm aware, and I'm like, oh, these are dogs, da 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 da,
Mhm.
and he's like,
Mhm.
they gonna deteriorate. Either
Yep.
I'm gonna wear them or
Yep.
I'm not, and
Yep.
like. I couldn't fathom, this is me, I'm 17, 18. I couldn't fathom
Mhm.
that he had so many expensive sneakers and they
Mhm.
were just dirty and they were worn
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
things had one shoe and the other shoe may have been thrown
Yeah.
in the trash somewhere, and like, but he's like, because in the early 2000s reselling really wasn't a thing. It was like, he's
Yeah.
like, it was just Flight Club and it was eBay,
Yeah.
and you didn't buy used shoes off eBay,
Right.
and Flight Club, they only sold new shoes, so whatever
Yep.
shoes you had, you just got rid of them through like giving them away or throwing them away. But
Yeah.
like I couldn't fathom, all this stuff that I was like, oh, this is crazy, but they're all
Mhm.
dirty, because it's
Right.
like I gotta wear them. If I don't wear them,
Yeah.
they're gonna fall apart anyways. So I think people are coming back around to that thinking where,
Mhm.
I bought these shoes, I spent all this money on this shoe, I'm gonna wear it,
Yep.
and they should.
And they should.
Yeah.
And they should, man. That I like that, man. Yeah, man. I think that's the lesson. You buy stuff because you like it. You get stuff because you want to wear it, right? And I think that's why the hype and all these things are starting to come down. Because, well, I shouldn't say the hype is starting to come down. People that really are invested in this and really care about it are having the opportunity to get what they want because of stores like Home Court, where I can come in and it's accessible to me. I can go in
Mm-hmm.
there and I can get it. I could trade, I could buy, I could work with the man, I could do all sorts of things up in there. And also because people that were just sort of, and again, it was during the pandemic, a lot of people wanted to make content about stuff. They wanted to be, they had more access. Oh, this guy's a reseller, this girl's a reseller. Let me get into that. Let me take this money and buy, however it worked out,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? That sort of cooled down. And now you just have people enjoying the space. And that's what I'm really, really digging right now, that I can look at people and say, like, yo, this is just somebody that like genuinely enjoys getting up in the morning, getting dressed,
Mm-hmm.
putting that on, and maybe they want to show the world, maybe they don't. That's why I like those little pages with like fits on the street and stuff like that, because it's
Yeah.
like these are just people expressing themselves. You know what I mean? So I think it's really, really cool, man. Any final words or thoughts you wanna just share with the people, just in regards to fashion and any of this, before we go, man? You by the way, I really enjoy having you on the show, man. You're a great
Oh,
conversation.
thank you.
I'm
Please,
glad to have
please
met
invite me back.
you. Yeah, man. No, you're a real cool dude, man. When we first chatted, I was like, hey, cool guy, man. This dude is really, really cool. You're much younger than me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was tripping off you reselling at 12. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, man. But no, I really am glad to have met you, and you're a real cool dude, and I really enjoy the shop. And hanging out in there when I get an opportunity, sometimes coming in my work bag and
Yeah.
just checking stuff out, man. It's really welcoming in there. People really, because I say that, bro, because sometimes some of those places can be a little intimidating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like people kind of treat you like like you doing them, like they're doing you a favor,
Yeah,
as
for
opposed to
sure.
treat you like a customer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Coming from, like, I've been every facet in the sneaks. I've been
Yeah.
customer, I've
Hmm.
worked retail, I've worked, you know, this now is
Yeah.
resale. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Before I worked in boutiques, so I know how intimidating it can be to
Hmm.
be a regular guy in a sneaker store.
Yeah.
You might not be Mr. Cool Guy. Everybody might not know
Right.
you, but they shouldn't make you feel like that. And I
Yeah.
think we do a good job of being very like open and welcome. Because like people say it all like you're so cool. That I'm a regular guy. I'm from Washington D.C. It's common. I like to find a commonality with every single person I interact with.
Mm-hmm.
You from Washington? Oh, you from DC? I'm from DC. You
Yeah.
went here. I went here. You play basketball. I play basketball. You like it's we're all human at the end of the day. Like it doesn't matter what kind of sneakers I got on my foot, what kind of
Yeah.
shirt I got on. Like we're all human. Decency is a big thing to me
Yeah.
growing up. Like I learned like if you're not nice to people, you're nothing in this world.
Yeah.
So you got to be nice to people. You got to be
Yeah.
respectful. Closing thoughts. I mean, buy what you like.
Mm.
That's pretty much it, man. Buy what you like. I feel like everybody
Okay.
buys
Okay.
stuff
Okay. Yeah.
that they're not liking, and you don't even want to know the amount of people I get come in the store. I bought this and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Know what fits you, know what fits your
Yeah.
swag, know what fits your life.
Mm-hmm.
Wear it, have fun. That's another thing. Everybody should know their personal style. Like I know my style. I like
Mm.
designer clothes and regular sneakers. I know
Yeah.
people say I don't have regular sneakers, but like the Jordans, the Nikes. Like
Yeah.
you got to know what you like and know what's cool to you.
Yeah.
Everybody should just know what's cool to them and stick to your guns. Come see me at the store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real easy to talk to. You watching this, I'm easy to talk to. I'm a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, man, I'm glad I was able to be on here. Glad to talk about the state of the sneaker game.
Mhm.
I'm very excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, bro. We will have you back on for sure. No doubt about that, man. We'll wrap soon.
Thank you so much.
No problem, man. Yo, shouts out to my man Max, man. That was really, really, really cool. Great conversation. And he said something that really stood out to me. It really just I wanted to like keep the conversation going when he said this, but I was running short of time. He said, make sure you know what you like. And from that I got make sure you know yourself. When you know yourself, you know what looks good on you. It doesn't have to be high fashion. It doesn't even have to be anything. It doesn't have to be sneakers or anything. When you know yourself, you know what looks good on you. You aren't trying to pretend. You aren't trying to stunt. You're just being comfortable in your own skin. I thought that was very insightful from him. When you know what you want to wear, you look good. Know yourself, understand yourself, and all this stuff starts to come together. All right. Thank you all for tuning in, man. Appreciate you all. Remember to follow me, MSR_Adam, MSR_Adam. That's on social media. Check out the podcast. Remember to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. We're still working on the podcast stream. Had a couple of snags with that, but that'll be coming soon. Don't worry. But for right now, just check us out on YouTube. I'll let you know when the stream is up. Matter of fact, follow me on MSR_Adam. You'll see all of that. All right. Remember to mind your mental health, okay? Mind your mental health. I just came back from Puerto Rico. I'm feeling good. Had to take a trip with the family, take care of my mental health, take those vacations in summertime, get outside, hit a beach, do something, go for a bike ride, do whatever, go for a jog, do what you got to do to take care of yourself up here. Mind your mental health. Hey, mind your physical health. It all is all the same, right? Get out there, take care of yourself, eat right, drink the right things, put the right things in your body. Do what you got to do to take care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. And with that, there's no way you won't be. But please never forget, just in case, to be great. I'm up out of here. Peace.